Welcome to Stay
and Slay
with Mel
and Krissy. And Susan.
And Susan. She's back.
back. No one said they were scared of her.
No one said they were scared, and
she's here to stay.
She's here to stay.
A second.
For a while until
she's here to stay and slay.
She's right, here Susan. To stay and slay. So shout out to Tyler for naming her because he's a real one.
And we love him.
We love him.
When your comment came in today, right? Came in today.
I think it came in a couple days ago, but we saw it today.
Well, we thought you were a goner and you're back.
We're back. Like, no, it literally made our day, Tyler. So we love you.
Does anyone know Tyler? If you don't know Tyler, go to our comment section.
Yeah,
Give him a like, a comment, subscribe.
We love him.
So Mel, what are we talking about today?
So today,
I
think we should talk about everyone's favorite topic, anxiety.
Anxiety. It's a spicy topic.
It's a spicy topic.
It's very spicy.
Do you have anxiety?
Totally. I came out of the womb with anxiety.
Okay.
Do you want to hear a story?
I would love to hear a story.
My sister was born, so I was no longer the baby.
Yeah.
I'm like 2. And they pull out all my hair.
Oh my God.
Like, pulled it all out because I was freaking out.
You were freaking out.
I was freaking out.
And you just didn't know why.
All my hair. Bald. I had to wear hats. I had to wear hats. I pulled out all my hair. I remember it too. I'm like, yeah, I pulled out all my hair.
Bald. Well, so I also have a childhood story.
Yes, please share.
So when I was maybe like 6, 7, I don't know. I was in elementary school. We used to go up to Wisconsin Dells all the time. And this one year, the lake had drained. The Wisconsin Dells lake had drained for some reason.
Like the lazy river thing? Or just the actual lake?
Not at the water park.
Oh, because I just don't know why a real lake would drain. That's crazy.
It was real.
Oh my God.
A lake. I don't know what happened. If anyone knows this lore.
Yeah, what's the Wisconsin Dells lake?
Lore.
Lore.
Lake lore.
Oh my God, I want to go to Wisconsin Dells so bad.
Austin, if you know, let me know.
Please, I want to go to Wisconsin Dells. Can we plan a trip?
Oh yeah, we can go.
I love.
Well, we used to have a condo there, so we would go all the time.
Oh my God,
that's the backstory.
Why don't you still have the condo?
We don't have it anymore, Krissy.
Okay. But I really love.
I'm sorry. I would have loved to take you. We would have gone next
water
week.
slides. Stop it.
I know. It's okay. We can still go. We just have to pay now.
Okay.
But
what about July? Are you busy?
Yeah, we can go in July. Yeah. Okay, we're going to Wisconsin Dells. But anyway, 1 year. So we would go every year. 1 year, the lake was drained for some unknown reason.
Unknown lore.
Lore. And my parents wanted to go. Everyone was walking on it because obviously it was really weird. So everyone was just walking on this empty lake.
Was it all muddy and?
Yeah, it was muddy and.
I feel like this is weird, a lie.
It's not a lie. Not you gaslighting.
I think Mel's lying.
I'm not lying. This is real. Let me finish.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, this feels.
So they're about to go walk on the lake, and all of a sudden, my stomach hurts so bad, and I'm I'm about to throw up. I'm gonna be sick. I felt like I just could not breathe, and I was I told my parents, I'm I can't go. I just don't feel good, and they're okay, fine, go wait in the car. So I went, and the second I got in the car, I felt completely fine. Anxiety, but now that I'm talking about it, yeah, I was scared of an empty lake.
That's normal.
Yeah, that's
how dare they?
That's kind of right. It's kind of normal.
When I was younger, Not even younger. I think I was in 8th grade. So embarrassing. Oh my God. This is so
no,
embarrassing.
but that was like 9 years ago. So.
Well, right now it's a long time ago, but you're like 12 or 13. You're 13 in 8th grade, right?
Yeah, you're 13.
I'm a 13-year-old. It's really important I emphasis on the fact I'm 13.
Okay.
We go to Disney World for the first time. You know, it's something new, different. There's rides. You know, it's supposed to be like, dream come true. You're in Disney World. I cried the whole time because as a 13-year-old, I cried before every ride, screaming.
You're so me.
Oh my God, like that's so embarrassing.
You're so me.
But I cried before every ride. I hated it. I hated Disney World.
That's
and
crazy.
Universal. And like there were rides that were like
boring.
You know, like Around the World or whatever. All like the world, like the rides that are so boring.
Yeah.
Like the E.T. ride at Universal was really like slow. But I am on this ride screaming. But they wanted to go on like everything we could, obviously, because we paid to be there.
Would your family get mad at you?
Oh,
for,
yeah.
Like,
they were so mean to me.
Yeah.
So I always felt like a victim, you know?
Yeah.
Like I always played that card. I had such bad issues growing up. Oh my God. I'm sorry to my family who had to deal with it.
Same.
I used to cry at every family dinner.
Yeah, I would
and
cry
my dad would be like,
too.
Oh, she hasn't cried yet. And guess what? I cried
right away.
cry. I used to cry at dinner all the time. Like, that's a problem.
Yeah, like, that's not normal.
What?
Well, when I was younger, every vacation we would go on, anytime we had to be away from the house, I would just cry. I would literally cry the whole time.
Know.
And in kindergarten, I had to bring, like, a stuffed animal every day because if I didn't have that, like, piece of home, I would, like, cry all the time. Like, that's not normal.
You know, some things are normal as a kid, though. Like one time my mom came to, like, the school book fair.
Yeah.
But, like, parents had to leave after a while.
Yeah.
And when she left for some reason, I, like, broke down. I cried the rest of the school day.
Yeah.
And I hugged a teacher. I remember hugging a teacher at recess.
Yeah.
Scream crying the rest of the day.
I remember.
All because my mom left. Like, girl.
Right. I was the exact same way.
But, like, stuff like that's normal. But, like, still, like, crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And then, like, I think... How old were you, would you say, when you kind of realized, like, you did have anxiety?
I just always knew I was different than other people. Like, I could not socialize. Or I couldn't hang out with people without freaking out.
Yeah.
Like, it was so hard for me to leave my house a lot of the time.
Yeah, me too.
And just make friends, even. Like, I always had, like, friends, but I was so scared to, like, sleep over at their house.
Yeah.
Like, I used to be the one who'd be like,
I never had sleepovers.
My stomach really hurts. I have to go home. But I just was scared to, like, be there.
Yeah, like did your stomach always hurt? Because mine always hurt.
Growing up was, like, very consistent for me.
Yeah,
like,
same.
Before school, like, you know, like, I was always super scared. I actually, in high school, had a job I hated.
Yeah.
And I spent that whole summer throwing up before work every day.
Yeah.
And I lost so much weight.
I know.
But I was
so
like
bad.
So you went to therapy for it, correct?
Yeah.
What age? Like, when did that all start? Like, when you, like, went to get help, I guess. Like, when did you know it was time to, like, take that step?
Well, as a kid, I, like you were saying, I would, like, throw up a lot. Like, I just felt like I couldn't leave the house. Anytime I had to leave the house, it was, like, the biggest deal in my head. Mm-hmm. But I think when it came to, like, probably 7th, 8th grade and, like, in high school, I really started to feel alone because I felt like, how you were saying, too, my stomach would always hurt. And, like, one time in middle school, I was at a birthday party and my stomach hurt so bad. It was like a sleepover birthday party. And
those are the worst.
Yeah. And it was a lot of fun.
Right, you have fun and then you're like, Mommy.
Yeah, I was having so much fun, but for some reason, like, my anxiety wasn't, like, situational. I knew I, like, always was different, like you were saying, because I just always had this, like, unsettling feeling inside me, in my mind and in my body. Like, and I don't know. So I just, like, was having anxiety for some reason. My stomach was hurting so bad. and I was like laying in the other room, and one of the girls was like, oh, like Melissa always does this, like her stomach always hurts, like as if I was doing it on purpose. And I was like, no, like, so then stuff like that kind of
meanie.
I know. And then like I think from there on I really tried to like hide my anxiety a lot more growing up. So like in high school I just almost feel like I isolated myself like in my head, because I was like, I would throw up every morning before school, and like obviously my close friends like know that, but like I couldn't even control it. Like I felt like I couldn't get out of the house unless I like threw up in the morning, and I didn't. It's not like I made myself, like my body just
like you just start dry heaving and then
yeah, like your anxiety just like makes you do that.
I remember the morning of it was like the ACT or something.
Yeah,
I don't know why it freaked me out so bad. I puked in a shoebox because it was the first thing I could see like when I woke up.
Oh no.
And I went right to like the test, like I had to go. And I literally got like a 15 on the ACT because I was freaking out.
Yeah.
Which is, I hate state testing.
Oh yeah, so I did so bad on those.
Different reasons, but I also had ADD with no accommodations. So like,
yeah,
state testing is just so inaccurate of how smart someone is.
Yeah, I know.
But I remember like, I've done so many like stupid things, like puke in a shoebox the first thing in the morning. Like,
yeah. And I think that's why I like have a fear of throw up too. Like I just it's associated with anxiety.
I try
so like,
hard not to now.
Yeah, well, and the fear for me growing up, like throwing up all the time like that from anxiety, now I'm like, I get anxiety because I don't want to throw up from the anxiety.
I know. That's so funny.
So in high school, I like was also in gymnastics and cheer. So like that was really anxiety inducing. Just
I could never.
Like I loved what I was doing, but whenever it came to like performing, it was just the biggest struggle. And I did cheer my whole life, like since 3rd grade. So I think that like I just had anxiety as a young kid, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't think it really like became a problem until my junior year of high school, I'd say, or maybe even like sophomore year. I remember like specifically my junior year, I couldn't even, like I had to skip first period for some reason. Like my anxiety literally trained me to like freak out about going to my first period. So like if I had to go, I would like freak out. I would throw up in the morning. I don't know what it was, but if I like went to school late, then I felt fine. It's just like stuff like that your
like
anxiety.
What was first period? Do you know?
It was choir.
Oh,
and I don't know. I don't know why.
I want to hear you sing.
No. I don't know. Anxiety kind of has always caused me to like develop weird fears, like little fears that shouldn't be there.
It's like crazy to me because like I think back on it now, and I've come so like far like socially and stuff.
Me
like
too.
when I think about those classes that I was scared to go to, and like now like I actually would talk to those people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah. It became like a problem where I just couldn't.
So when did you end up going to therapy for it?
Yeah, so when I wasn't like going to school, my parents were kind of like, okay, this is like getting out of control. And because my dad also like, he'll always relate to me. He's like, you know, I had anxiety growing up, whatever. But I still just felt so like isolated, and I think that made me like spiral even more. So my dad found my therapist actually, because at the time I was 17, I think. And I'm actually still with her to this day.
Yeah.
I love her.
I've never met her, but I love her too.
Yeah. I like, she has just saved me in so many ways. And I'm very lucky that I'm still with her, because it takes, for a lot of people, it's hard to find a therapist that you truly connect with. But my dad really like took his time in finding her, and she's actually specialized in like anxiety and depression. She, instead of being somebody that I just would talk to, she taught me like ways to cope with my
yeah.
anxiety, because it kind of got to a point in high school where I just couldn't even like sit through a class. Like I would just freak out about the fact that I had to like sit in a classroom. So she actually taught me, this is a great skill that like saved my life in high school. She actually taught me the tapping method. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
No, I don't think so.
So basically there's like tapping points, and if anyone's like actually interested in this, I could send you, or you could just look up like tapping points. But basically she taught me this. One of them that like I would do a lot in school, because you don't want to be like tapping your head in the middle of class, you know. But if you need to do it discreetly, you can, which is nice. So like in school at my desk, I would just like tap like my hips or whatever, like tap my shoulder. So you just tap your shoulder and you say like, even though I have anxiety, I will be fine. Even though I have anxiety, I will be fine. And you say it 3 times, and then you do 3 big deep breaths, and you just repeat it. And it literally like, but you go through like the tapping points. But if you need to do it discreetly, do it on your shoulder, do it on your side, like do it on your back, you know, like you can kind of switch it up a little bit. And it got me through the day in school. It really helped me a lot. And I had never found like a little solution that made it better, you know? So that helped me a lot. And then obviously, I mean, my anxiety was kind of up and down. I still, like, even with those certain methods,
right,
I still have it to this day. Like, it'll never go away, but it definitely helps me cope. And like, she also has given me a ton of like listening tracks and stuff like that. Listen to it on the plane, and it's basically just like a psychiatrist like talking you through, like it's like a little meditation. Yeah. So
I never got help, I guess. I don't really know how to explain it, but I definitely like, I've always been somebody who wants to do it like on my own, you know? Yeah. Like, not that it like, I don't need help, but like I don't want it almost, because I'd rather just figure it out on my own. And like throughout the years, it depends
on the person.
I've been like so lucky to just be really self-aware of myself. Yeah. Like, definitely not when I was younger, but I definitely reached an age where I started noticing things. Yeah. And like, I would just go find those like ways to help myself. Yeah. Like, you know, whether that be music or just noticing like the things you put in your body like actually make such a big difference. Like, I started noticing whenever I would drink caffeine, I would just be so anxious for no reason. Yeah. And I feel like going for walks helps me a lot, like especially when like really big things happen in my life that are really hard to like deal with, because naturally that's going to bring on anxiety, like for everybody on the planet, you know? So like going for walks, kind of just like being alone. And I like to like talk to my dog sometimes and walking my dog. And my cat, oh my God, she's been with me through every trauma. Oh, I've had her since like I was 12 or 13. Like, I bought her myself, and she's still alive, and I hope she's alive forever.
I know.
Because she's just been through everything with me. And what's really cool about pets, it's like she knows when something happens because she will sit right here. Yeah. Which is like where I need it, you know? Like, you need, like, I don't know, there's something about the vagus nerve that I don't know much about, that I probably should. But she sits, like, right here. Yeah. And it's just so nice.
You know, that's, like, something that you kind of just, like, leaned into.
Yeah, because we didn't talk about that before.
Well, also, recording. I think there's so many different forms of therapy. I think, like, you shouldn't feel ashamed if you do go to therapy or if you don't.
And I've thought about therapy before. I just have always just wanted to figure it out on my own.
Yeah, and that's okay, because there's so many forms of therapy. Cuddling with your pet. Right. Talking to a friend. Like,
right, and that's true too. Like, like, growing up, I feel like nobody talked about anxiety. And then finally, like, my best friend growing up told me, like, all her issues, and I was like, girl, me too.
Yeah, you're like,
and we, like, you know, just opening up that conversation. Yeah. and like having friends who can relate to it, because some people just can't.
Yeah.
And they're like a little insensitive about it.
Yep.
Or they kind
very
of
much so
use it against you.
Yep.
And it's just like,
that's why, like,
all right.
Yeah. I've found it tough, like, growing up to kind of be friends with some people that can't empathize with it or understand it.
Right.
Because, like, that anxiety is part of who I am, unfortunately.
Right. Like,
you know, I think when I was younger, I kind of let it win a lot more than I do now. I don't let it win as much as I used to. But that's what's interesting about mental illness, is that it is an illness. Like, it literally will take over sometimes.
Yeah,
like sometimes you just can't get out of it.
Have you ever just like panicked like in front of people?
Yeah, like you just have a panic attack.
That's
it's
the worst.
So embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
Or like you like pass out in public. Like,
that's
oh my God.
happened to me like a few times this year, which hasn't happened in a long time.
I want to talk about.
And it's just so embarrassing.
Yes.
Like, so embarrassing.
Like, stop.
Like, sorry. Because when you're panicking, like, you're kind of spiraling. Like, whatever comes out of your mouth.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm sorry for what I said.
no control.
Yeah. You know what I want to talk about? Like, the symptoms of anxiety that a lot of people don't talk about. Because I think a lot of people think anxiety is only, like, in your head.
Do you get an anxiety rash?
So I've never struggled with that.
That has been happening to me.
Oh, gosh.
Like, that symptom is the only, like, not the only symptom, but the most common symptom for me, like, in the past year.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm doing, like, IEP meetings at school, or, like I'm thinking about a situation that's really bothering me.
Yeah.
My whole, like, I bet you right now, if I, like, looked in my sweatshirt, my whole chest
like a rash.
Is blotchy. And it's, like,
yeah,
so strange, because I didn't have that growing up until recently.
That is weird.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like,
but like, yeah, you're right. Develop. Like, there are physical symptoms, like growing up.
Right. Like, like, there's anxiety is so physical too, and I think that's something people don't understand.
Like, you can lose hair.
You ripped your hair out. You were bald. Right.
But you can, like, literally lose hair.
Yeah, like, you can lose your hair. Your stomach can hurt. You, like...
breaking out.
Like,
I don't have that
having
problem,
to use the bathroom.
Do. Right.
Like, all of
the
those...
bathroom!
All of those are, like, physical symptoms, and I think, like, you know, when you can't, like, sit through a class and...
You can't breathe. Like...
Yeah. It's just... something that unfortunately...
Pacing? Do you pace?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
me
pace.
too. I pace.
And passing out, like, oh my God. Can I tell the story of in high school when I passed out in front of my whole class?
Yeah, please share.
Okay.
Oh, God.
So, this day, I, like, wasn't really feeling well, and I had a presentation. And I had, like, a really bummy phase in high school where I literally only wore sweatpants and sweatshirts.
What a bum.
So I'm wearing sweatpants and sweatshirt.
She's a bum.
I know. But, like, baggy. I'm in sweatpants and sweatshirt.
Right.
I go to physics, and I get up to present. And all of a sudden, I'm like...
Presenting in physics?
Yeah,
that's so stupid.
It was so stupid. And I'm presenting, and I'm like... oh my gosh, like, I'm really starting to feel kind of, like, lightheaded. Like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, you know,
you can't see,
I feel the ringing in my ear. I'm like, fuck, I'm about to pass out. So I start trying to walk back to my desk. But I guess this is what I was told because I blacked out at this point.
Yeah, right. I know it's like...
I blacked out and I woke up on the floor. And it literally was like a circle of people around me. And everyone was like, oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? And you know how after you pass out, like, you feel like you're going to throw up?
Yeah, it's you're very out of it.
Yeah, and I was like, can I just, like, get out of here? I don't want to throw up in front of everyone after I just passed out in front of everyone. And then, but whatever. So apparently... there's this kid, his name was Raymond.
Ray.
We'll call him Ray. Mm-hmm. So Ray was sitting here, I was presenting here, and apparently I put my arm on him, and I, like, flipped over and, like, passed out, and I, like, landed on top of him. Yeah.
Oh, right.
I know. So he's a king for like taking care of like catching me because I could have like hit my head.
You mean
you
you
know?
fell into his arms?
Yeah, but it was not like that. But then
True.
the nurse,
King Ray Ray.
the nurse comes and she's like, you have to go in the wheelchair. And I was like,
Right.
no, like I can walk, whatever. She's like, no. So she puts me in the wheelchair and wheels me.
Were you like well known by the nurse?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yep. She wheels me past the lunchroom, and the lunchroom had like glass windows, and she wheels me past, and everyone in the lunchroom just sees me in a wheelchair. And I was so embarrassed.
Wow.
I was like, no.
There wasn't any other way.
No. She's so bogus for that.
This reminded me of something.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, some people just use it against you.
Yes.
And I've always had problems with my doctors.
Okay.
So I just don't have a doctor. I've had, the worst luck in the world. I could tell stories, but I'll probably get sued by one of them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I literally I don't trust the medical field because they're mean to me. But after I got COVID the first time, because obviously it's been around long enough, I've had it 7 times. But I got COVID right off the bat, in August after the shutdown. So a couple months later, maybe that's almost 6 months later, but whatever. I got it pretty fast. I was the first one in my family. I have a big family, so it was new for everyone.
Yeah.
But after I had COVID, I started passing out. Mm-hmm. All the time, randomly passing out. And there was this one really bad time where I was in the shower by myself early in the morning, before work, and I had passed out, and I was but I had to go to work because I was babysitting for a family that was going to a funeral, and I was well, I can't cancel on them.
Yeah.
10 minutes before, I have to go.
No.
So I still went, but I, when I got home, I was Mom, I passed out in the shower this morning, and I remembered, you get the ringing in your ear, you lose your vision,
black out.
And you literally black out.
Yeah.
And I thought I fell forward, but I actually fell backward because I had bruises all down my back from, the faucet.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And I don't know how long I was out because that was the first question I got from, a doctor that I saw and, my parents. And I was well, there's no clock in the shower. I was I don't know. I didn't feel that long. But it could have been long. I have no clue.
Oh, my God.
There's for it because it'd been, a couple times at that point that I had been passing out.
Yeah.
And... they ran all the tests and stuff, but, before she even looked at my work, it was right after she took the last, blood sample, and I got, the EKG and, all that stuff, she was just anxiety has a lot to do with it. Looked me in the eyes, my mom wasn't even there.
Yeah.
It was just me and her, and she was anxiety has a lot to do with it. And,
Yeah.
they didn't call me back for 2 weeks, and when they finally did, she was I have nothing to tell you, you should really, it's probably just the anxiety. And I remember, crying when I got that call, because I was,
resources,
right, it was literally just, I remember crying because I was I know this isn't anxiety, and, me and my mom actually did research, and we, found a bunch of stuff about people fainting after COVID, and, luckily it stopped.
One time, my gymnastics coach, love him, but it's all love. But I was about to do my floor routine, and my anxiety was not letting me do it. I knew I couldn't do it. And tumbling was very much in your head. If you were in your head, I don't
think I could do a floor routine ever.
Yeah,
I can barely do a somersault.
And I had to hit my tumbling,
right.
Back handspring, back flips, whatever. If I was in my head, and I knew when I was in my head, I knew I would fall. I knew I would mess up. I knew it wouldn't be good.
Right.
So I went up to my coach, and I was I can't perform today. I just can't do it. And he was well, and there was another girl on the team that also, struggled with anxiety pretty bad. So she, would also sometimes not perform. And he was well, your anxiety isn't as bad as hers, so you need to do it.
Wow.
And I was so taken back because I was how could you even compare that? How are you going to compare, us we both have anxiety. We both struggle. Like, that's not fair to say. So that was really messed up. I remember thinking, like, okay, so that's kind of why, like, I just felt alone in it.
Right.
And it wasn't really till college till I, like, truly met a lot of people that understood me and my anxiety and was patient with me. Like, the friends that I made in college, obviously some people in high school, but
it's, like, important to have friends that are patient about it. Like, if it's happening, like, while you're together, like,
yeah, because I used to have panic attacks.
Don't be rude. You know.
So I think all in all, like, anxiety can make you really insecure too.
Okay, true. And I feel like
and overthink.
Growing up, it was very hard to figure out how can I differentiate, like, what my anxiety is telling me versus what's real.
Yes.
And I
what is real?
Like, you know, like, intrusive thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that goes hand in hand with anxiety, and that's, like, a really, like, vulnerable topic. But, like,
yeah,
I feel like we all get intrusive thoughts at some point where, like, something's just telling you, like, everybody hates me, or I'm not good enough, or, like, you know, like, whatever it is, like, we all get those. And I remember, like, having a moment in high school where I was like, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Like, that's just not true, even though that's what my brain's telling me.
Yeah.
Like, that's not true. But, like, it's so hard to differentiate, like, because I know we've talked about, like, especially in college.
Yeah.
Like, trying to shake that feeling that, like, everyone hates you for no reason.
It
like,
kind of...
It's so silly. But
it's
like,
silly, and we both still feel it today.
Sometimes where we're just like, oh my God, no one loves me. No one likes me. No one wants to hang out with me. No one wants to be around me.
Yeah. And I think that, like, form of anxiety, that's kind of the mental side of anxiety, like, side effects. Like, that's why when I do feel that, I love to go to you because, like, you understand it. But it's just sometimes, I don't know, like, no one will even do anything. It comes out of nowhere.
And that's when I, like, now, like, what I try to do when that does happen to me, I try to think, like, what did I just eat? Did I have caffeine today? Did I get enough sleep?
Yeah.
Because when I don't sleep, like, everything feels like a fever dream. Like, I can barely breathe. Like,
yeah, same.
Like, it's bad. So I'm like, if I just try to think about, like, what's causing this, it, like, it kind of reassures me that, like, if I just, like, get more sleep or, like, you know, tomorrow I'll feel better. Yeah. Like, just kind of, like, what do I need right now? Do I need to go for a walk? Do I need to listen to music?
Right. It's, like, pulling yourself out of that.
Right. Like, it's just trying to be self-aware of, like, okay, we've had this feeling before. Yeah. Let's think about what could help me in this situation. Yeah. Letting yourself feel that way versus, like, helping yourself get out of it.
You have to have, like, the strength to be able to pull yourself out of it and, like, learn the tools. And I think that's why it is important to, like, confide in your friends, confide in people. Like,
I feel like growing up, like, we just got to a point where, like, it started to get talked about more. Yeah. And it helped more, you know?
Yeah, because when we were younger, no one did.
Right.
Like,
you feel so different. You feel like, you know.
Like, pulling yourself out of that, like, mindset is just, like, doing the little things.
The little things.
The little things that you love.
The little things have always been the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Like helps me get out of a lot. Not even anxiety, just life in general. If you just look at all the little things. Yeah. It just makes everything better.
That's why, like
the clouds.
Yeah, the clouds. In the summer, I'll go for a walk. I'll, like, cut a strawberry.
Cut a strawberry?
Cut a strawberry.
That's so funny.
I don't know.
That's something that, like, I love about, like, being older is that because I work with children and I know, like, how to help them because I can help myself. It's like, and it kind of goes to show, like, you can't love other people until you can love yourself. Like, if I can't handle my anxiety, then I can't help my students. Yeah. Help their anxiety, or, like, me and my nephew or whoever it is.
I think, like, when you're younger and
or even your friends, like,
not, like, understanding what's happening to you, you kind of have to, like, put in the work somehow to realize, okay, I do have anxiety. How can I cope with it? How can I live my life?
And then you can help
without being in fear.
Other people.
Yeah. Yeah. I think also as you get older, it's kind of a little easier to like manage your emotions too. Mm-hmm. For some.
Yeah. I guess.
I don't know.
We're non-serious therapists. We don't know anything.
We don't know anything.
Don't listen to us, actually. Stop listening.
This is all personal.
Go away.
This is all personal.
This is actually not real.
Yeah, Susan is not real.
So, do you want to talk about our weekends?
Yes.
Let's do it.
I do.
Should we tell the story that involves both of us?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Very weird story.
One of those
small
world stories. Yeah. That's what I wanted to say. Like there's definitely like it was crazy.
It was crazy. So my cousin
Can we just start with the fact that it's St. Patrick's Day in Chicago?
Yes.
And if you're not from Chicago, like St. Patrick's Day in Chicago is
huge.
A huge deal.
It's a huge deal.
And everyone and their mother is in the city, Chicago. Like it's crowded.
Yes.
There are 1 million people, 5 million people there.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to like lay it down.
Yes. Like
this is crazy. The fact that this
hundreds of people there.
The fact this happened is really weird.
Yeah. So I was spending the weekend with her. Krissy was doing her own thing.
Yeah.
And we knew we were both going to be in the city, but we kind of talked about meeting up, but we weren't like.
It just didn't work out.
It didn't really work out. So that was on Saturday, but the night before.
Saturday, you were in Chicago, right?
Yes. The night before I was in the city, and my one cousin was kind of telling us his plans for the next day, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to like a dirty whatever. And we were like, oh, okay. We ended up like going and doing our own thing.
Yeah, and like me and my friends, we like went out in the morning. Our friend was DJing at a club, so we were there like all day.
Yeah.
Literally till like 4, and then we went to a darty. We run into this guy, and the next day I'm on TikTok and I see a video and I recognize this dude. I'm like, from Mel's TikTok. And I'm like, I sent a screenshot. I was like, Mel, who is this? And she's like, that's my cousin.
Yeah, so Krissy, I posted a TikTok, and Krissy sends me a screenshot, and she's like, who is this guy? And I'm like, my cousin? Like, why? And she's like, he was at the dirty we were at yesterday, and like, he, whatever, we were hanging out with him. And I was like, what?
Yeah, it was just crazy. Like,
it was really weird.
Like, how is that possible?
I kind of felt it was like that weird feeling when like your worlds are colliding.
Yeah. Oh, that scared me. The concert last night. I went to Kayvon in Chicago at the House of Blues.
Slay.
And we got there like pretty late. Me and my friends, we went, because we've never been to the House of Blues and they have a restaurant there. So we ate there first. And then we went in to see the openers. Like, there was 2 openers. One guy was like finishing his set and the other one was about to start. And as like the first opener was finishing, I was just looking around because I had never been there. And there's like, at the House of Blues, there's balconies, like a couple floors of balconies. And I was just looking into them and I saw Kayvon like just looking down at the crowd. And luckily I know what he looks like. A lot of people go to those shows and they don't really like know what they look like because they're just DJs. Like, so I knew what he looked like though. I've seen him twice before, and for me he's a big deal, but apparently he's really low key. Like, that show was the tiniest show I've ever been to. Yeah. So I was just like really taken by that. But he's like looking down, and I'm like, that's Kayvon, and nobody's recognizing him because they don't know what he looks like. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, that's Kayvon. So I start jumping up and down and I'm waving. And he waves back at me and he puts up a heart. He puts up a heart at just me. Stop. And it was just me and him. Like, nobody else was there. It was just me and him.
That's iconic.
And I was like, oh my God, he loves me.
That's everything.
He loves me. And God, when he got on the stage, he like pointed at me right away. I swear to God, because he was like, that's her.
Oh my God, he was in love with you.
Like, it needs to be a spiritual side of EDM. Like, for me, he's like more of a spiritual artist, like San Holo. Yeah. Like, he's just so, I feel like he's a mix of San and Illenium. He's very like,
Yeah, I've never heard of him.
So wholesome. His music's beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like when you die, you hear, like, Kayvon playing because it sounds like you're going to heaven. Moment.
Slay.
If you haven't watched this,
I'm
I
so
love
happy.
you.
Thanks for tuning in, and we did have a break week, which we will have one break week every month.
Every 3 episodes.
Yeah, because we...
Don't be shocked.
Don't be shocked. We're
working people.
We're working
busy.
people. We're busy girls.
We're busy. Not our
busy
full-time
bees.
job right now. So.
Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in.
As always, stay vibrant.
And thanks for watching Stay
And slay.
with Mel
And Krissy.
Bye.
Mwah.
Thanks for tuning in, and thanks.
Oh, yeah. Well, go ahead. Just do what you have to do.